It's a question worth asking. Do you actually know how to think for yourself? In a world where the pressures of group consensus have never been more suffocating, when there is an unlimited amount of talking heads to tell you what happened and what you're supposed to think about it, and now highly sophisticated talking robots that will literally do your thinking for you, do you still know how to make up your own mind and formulate your own opinions? Or are you simply outsourcing all of your thinking to someone or something else? In today's age, more than ever, it's an important question to be asking yourself because we really, for the first time, are seeing a technology that has begun to encroach upon critical thinking itself. See, we make technology because technology makes our lives easier. Technology achieves this goal of making our lives easier by doing work for us that we otherwise would need to do for ourselves. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the name of the game has been saving labor, making machines that will do physical work for us. Then came the computer age. Now we have machines that will assist in technical, clerical, mental work. Now, up until very recently, though these tools made life much easier, they could not entirely do the work for you. Google, though it would point you in the right direction, hopefully show you the correct resources, it could not itself directly answer your question. A calculator, though it could perform a calculation, you still needed to pilot it. You still needed to know what calculation needed to be performed and how it is performed so that it could be properly input into the calculator. But now, for the first time, we have a technology that will essentially do the work for you. It will pick the correct answer in a multiple choice question. It'll write you a short answer, a long answer. It'll write you an entire essay. It will solve complex math and physics formulas. Not only that, but it'll make career decisions for you, parenting decisions. It'll give you relationship advice. You now possess a tool that will think for you. And only time will tell just how much damage this technology manages to do and how tightly it manages to spin its web of influence. But again, I want to stress this point. It's not that AI is finding you resources more quickly. It's not that it's assisting in your thought processes. It's not that it's helping you with these equations. Its job is to do the thinking for you. Right now, it is assumed that people are able to think for themselves. We'll see about that in a little bit here. But we have seen this already time and time again. When something is done for you by a technology or anything else, you very quickly forget how to do it for yourself. And if you don't forget, certainly your kids will. 30 to 40 years ago, it was a given that you knew how to read a map. Now, we have GPS apps on our smartphones, and no one knows how to read a map or navigate anymore without them. It was a given that you had important phone numbers memorized. Now we have Contacts app. How many phone numbers do you have memorized besides your own? Before we had all had calculators in our pockets, we were all better at doing head math. Before we had autocorrect, we were all better at spelling. I can keep going, but you get the point. Anything that is done for you is something you will eventually not be able to do for yourself. And the more completely it is done for you, the faster you will lose that skill. And critical thinking is a skill. It can be sharpened through practice or dulled through inactivity. You use it or you lose it, as the old saying goes. And it seems to me like a lot of people are quickly losing it if they've ever had it at all. So let's answer the question. Do you actually think for yourself? Defining our terms, what is thinking? Thinking is the process of using one's mind to consider or reason about something. The important piece there is, of course, that you are the one doing the reasoning. It is your mind that is reasoning. That is to say, as if you're outsourcing the process to anyone or anything else, you are not actually thinking. See, even outside of AI, we have unlimited access to noise, to other people's opinions. If you want to know something to get an opinion about something, you can do so instantaneously. And on the surface, there's nothing wrong with taking in information from outside sources. You have to. But if you never turn off the news, never turn off the podcast, if you never create a space for you yourself in silence to ponder things, then you never actually create the opportunity for you yourself to think. For you yourself to get between your mind and the information that's being given to you. This seems really basic, but if you don't stop and think and say, okay, perspective A said this and perspective B said that, what do I think? If there is no space in between for you to sit, and instead you're just thinking, oh, well, I like perspective A and I don't like perspective B, therefore I'm taking perspective A, then you are not actually thinking. You are just consuming. And I really think that that is the place that most people find themselves because they never turn off the noise. They're not an active participant in the making up of their own mind. They simply allow the opinions they consume right in without any form of vetting. Because again, if you never sit in silence with just yourself, then you're not doing the thinking. You know this to be true because you cannot listen and think at the same time. In a conversation with someone, as soon as you are thinking about what you're going to say next, then you're not actually listening to the other person anymore. You cannot consume and digest at the same time. You know this intuitively as well because what does someone do when they want to keep intrusive thoughts out, when they want to stop themselves from thinking? When there's a deadline coming up, when there's something looming in the future, what do? They simply keep the noise up. They keep the show playing and they keep the music playing. You cannot do all of that. You can do all of that, rather, to keep the thoughts out, but you cannot keep them out forever because when do they show up? As soon as there's a moment of silence, they'll come back with a vengeance. As soon as you are in the shower or when your head hits the pillow, they come back. Simply put, if you never sit in silence and think, then you don't actually think. It's important to ponder upon this because not only does the efficiency of modern media make it so that the noise never stops, but if the Pandora's box of artificial intelligence is personally opened and gazed into, it threatens to remove you entirely from the thinking equation, if there was any of you left to begin with. And though it's obviously tempting to lean on these technologies at times, and certainly everyone in school is taking full advantage of them, simply put, if you let artificial intelligence answer every single question for you for the rest of your life, you would become less intelligent, without question. If you let something else think for you, your own ability to think and to reason will rot. And I do think that plenty of other technologies have already done this to a lesser extent and have already made us dumber, but AI beats them all out, really because it removes all of the effort. In terms of speed and ease of use, if you imagine combing through encyclopedias in a library like the olden days to find information, that's crawling. Google is like riding a bicycle. That's how much easier that is. And then AI is like instantly teleporting. And I believe that it is this ease of use and its programmed desire to keep you using it, much like social media algorithms, that begins to make it unbelievably addicting to the point of genuinely driving some people insane. It has recently come to light that most AI chatbots, if necessary to placate you, will lie to you. There's plenty of anecdotal evidence of this, but there are also studies that have been done showing that if you get offended or correct any of these major chatbots, instead of correcting you back, it will change its correct answer to an incorrect answer to make you happy. Take someone who already has no idea filter, who already is a spectator in the making up of their own mind, and then give them access to a sycophantic AI chatbot that will tell them whatever they want to hear. They will death spiral instantaneously. If they weren't already mentally ill, they will be soon. This seems to be similar to what can happen to someone who has no one else to check them in their delusions. There's a general understanding that we need each other to help ground ourselves to reality. There are very few people who can handle total isolation for extended periods of time without totally losing it. Artificial intelligence unapologetically reflects your delusions right back at you. It will not correct your delusions, which is why we are now seeing people fall in love with ChatGPT. They are falling in love with their own reflection. If you are not an active participant in your own mind, if you let someone else or something else pull the strings, then you are not actually your own person. I remember being on iFunny in 2016, which is where I got my political content at the time. And someone made a post about how you needed to do your own research because you could very easily get misled by people who are posting things that are simply not true. The point of this post was, don't take someone else's word for it, figure it out yourself. I left a comment on this post that said something to the effect of, okay, but can I trust that everything that you post is factual? And his reply, of course, was, no, do your own research. And though it was a simple and silly interaction, it's always stuck with me. The idea that you, to the best of your ability, need to figure out for yourself what you think. And that is great advice, but the problem is, after so many iterations of outsourcing your critical thinking to someone else, after so many years of sitting back and letting others do the thinking for you, there becomes a point where you cannot do your own research. You cannot do your own thinking because there is no you left. As I've said, I'm not at all against reading books and reading articles and watching videos. You should take in information, but you have to be there to catalog it, to ponder it, to decipher it yourself. If you spend more time watching and consuming than you do thinking, you will become less and less of your own person and more of whatever heavily curated social media feed you are tapped into. At the end of the day, it would be better to be an ignorant critical thinker than a well-informed passive consumer.
Where have my thoughts gone? I've lost my mind. No broken screen to hide behind.